Everybody, happy Monday to you. Hope you got through the day okay. Good start to the week, right? We've got national championship game on tonight. Some of us have the morning show, so they can't watch any of it, but let me know how it goes. We'll figure that out tomorrow morning. Hope you guys had a good start to your week. Meteorologist Matt Wintz here. Usually we do the show on Sunday evenings and get you set for the whole entire week. However, what we're doing tonight is a special broadcast because we've got some winter weather moving in. And I just want to make this very clear. Everything kind of remains the same in terms of our messaging. Our forecast hasn't changed with this. So if you joined last night, there's not going to be much new material, but we'll kind of rehearse what we've got going on here with this winter storm and the one after that. I'm going to spend a little bit more time on the Arctic outbreak that we have. Yes, the polar vortex is returning this weekend. Oh, it is just crazy weather-wise. This is just going to be nuts over the next week and a half, 2 weeks. Mother Nature certainly making up for a quiet December. So we'll talk about all that and more. And as always, we'll answer your questions, okay? All right, in terms of our sponsors, they get a free show tonight. They keep everything for free. They're awesome. Tiger Plumbing, plumber to go to, Northwest Indiana. They come out for free. It's tigerplumbing.net. PSAs are public service adjusters. They handle anything insurance claim-wise. And a really good thing to have this time of year, if you have a burst pipe, right, with this cold weather coming next weekend, they handle all that. So let's say I just dropped a pen. 1 second. I'll be right back because I need that. Let's say that, you have a pipe burst in your house, hopefully not, right, with the cold weather coming, though. Instead of contacting your insurance agency, go to them. It's publicserviceadjusting.com. They're all licensed, insured, 5-star reviews across the board, and all right here in Northwest Indiana. They're just fantastic. So they'll handle everything between you and the insurance agency. They'll get you all the money you need. They're great. stjudehouse.org are a nonprofit around domestic violence. They've got a mobile advocacy program where they go out and meet people that need help, where they need help. And they ask you what you need. They don't say, here's what we have. They say, what do you need from us? So please take advantage of that if that's something you're going through or someone. stjudehouse.org. Grigors Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Valparaiso. They have a ton of 4-wheel drive Jeeps on the lot right now. They're going to be snow covered here tomorrow. And then finally, Ewing Mechanical Services. What is that, you ask? Well, they do everything HVAC related. So indoor humidifiers, new furnace. If your furnace goes out, they'll come out same day. EwingMech.com is the place to go. Okay. All right. Want to thank everyone for joining us. I think we've got most everyone on board right now and a lot of hellos. So hello to you guys. Okay. Big picture across the country. I want to show you, first of all, I'm a big picture thinker. So I want to start big picture thinking here. This takes up a lot of real estate. This is a big storm system, right? This is that powerful area of low pressure. There's a lot of energy to it. And what you see here, it looks like my 3-year-old got a hold of the weather map again because it's lighting up like a Christmas tree. All of this here is your winter weather. All of this here, kind of the brown and tan colors, those are your high winds. So this thing's going to produce high wind from Nebraska to the East Coast, from Canada to the Gulf Coast. Just an amazing system. If you can't appreciate meteorology and you don't like weathermen and women, I get it, okay? But please appreciate meteorologically what this system is doing. It's massive, all right? You think about a storm above you and how big that is. This thing's taken up the entire eastern half of the country. It's just a huge storm system, just incredible stuff. They're going to have severe weather along the Gulf Coast. They'll have flooding in areas of the mid-Atlantic and New England because they just got a lot of snow. So all that's going to melt. And they're going to have a lot of rain. But the big story for us is it remains the same. This isn't going to be a blockbuster system. This isn't going to be the blizzard of whatever year you remember, all right? We're going to get an impactful snow tonight into tomorrow morning. It's not going to be a ton of snow, but the timing of it leads up to that morning rush hour. So your Tuesday morning in Northwest Indiana is going to be real slushy. We're still thinking a real wet snow with this. Wet snow isn't really the easiest to travel in either because it gets pushed around real easily based on tire tracks. So allow some extra time tomorrow morning. All right. That is the main messaging. It always has been, and it will be until the system moves on out. The other thing is the wind. It's going to be windy with this as well. Okay. And that wind is starting to kick up tonight. We're going to notice it tomorrow, and it's going to continue through Wednesday. The snow on the backside of the system, I'm not seeing a huge snow, but we will get more snow on top of this. But the thing with this storm system is there's just not Arctic air to work with. So we don't get this big punch of cold air behind it like we do with big snowstorms sometimes. But later this week, the Friday system that we talked about a little bit last night, That one has Arctic air with it. That's going to be a completely different story. And that one in its own right is going to be a giant storm system. So these aren't just little winter storms that kind of fluff by. These are giant storms that wind up and they take up the whole eastern half of the country. So that's why I'm so impressed with all this stuff. Okay, so let's dive into the details. We've got a winter weather advisory out for all of our counties. So again, if sometimes we get people that aren't from Northwest Indiana watching this, this is a Northwest Indiana centric page. Okay. Chicago has their own news. They tend to focus on their own news and they kind of leave Northwest Indiana out. I was a chief meteorologist for 6 years in Northwest Indiana in Maryville at the PBS station there, WYN. That was my first job. And when I left and they stopped doing news, it left a big void in Northwest Indiana. So that's why we created this page. So for those of you that are new to region weather, we've been around for many years. We've kept the page going, and it's serving an area of the country that gets all sorts of weather. I still have friends and family back in Northwest Indiana. So there's that. I have since moved on. I was down in Georgia as a chief, and now I'm in Cleveland as a meteorologist there. I'm a senior meteorologist there. So that's where I am, just so you know, kind of the history of region weather. But we have forecasted for Northwest Indiana for the last, I want to say we're going on 9 years now. I'm not sure, but either way, that's it. So that's the story. So if you're watching from anywhere else, this is all about Northwest Indiana, okay? Winter weather advisory out there. All right, here goes our storm system. Look at this thing. Look at it cranking. It's insane, right? Low pressure is still way back in Oklahoma and kind of like a water wheel. It's spinning around and it's just grabbing Gulf of Mexico moisture and streaming it northward. Just an incredible amount of moisture with this. This low pressure is deepening. There's a very strong jet streak or area of strong wind in the atmosphere that's pushing into this. So much like if you were to, let's say you had a bathtub and you took a hose that was running and you pushed it, down into the water, it would, shoot the water out, but it would also form swirls on the sides of it. Okay. That's a really good analogy that I just came up with, and I'll probably use that again, but that's kind of what's going on with the atmosphere. We've got the fire hose here down towards Texas, and on the northern end of it, you get this low pressure, which is really starting to crank. Okay. So it's that low pressure that's going to head up. It's in Oklahoma right now. It's going to head right up through Northwest Indiana, right towards the Indianapolis region, probably centered over us. So just a side note, if you're a migraine sufferer, you're going to feel this one tonight and tomorrow. You may already be feeling this, but especially tomorrow when this low's overhead. Okay. Anyone that feels the weather, you know who you are. You feel the weather coming in. This is going to be one that you're going to feel. All right. So plan ahead now. If it's ibuprofen, you have to pack up on, whatever it happens to be, because this is going to be a deep area of low pressure that's going to be right over Northwest Indiana tomorrow. Okay. So that's our low pressure as it gets going. We now have some snow that's breaking out, that's moving in. If you tracked with me last night, we were talking timing of this, and I thought heaviest snow would be after midnight. I'm going to bring that in just a little bit sooner. Okay. The system's evolving just a little bit quicker than what the modeling said, probably by an hour and a half or so, which is really good modeling wise. But we're going to have snow. We've already had some snow in our southern counties that's trying to fall. A lot of it's evaporating before it hits the ground. But once that column's saturated all up and down, we are going to bring that snow down to the surface here, and it's not going to take very long. So the next couple hours, we'll start to crank out some snow in our southern counties. The initial snow will be light, but then it'll start to ramp up in intensity. And I'm still going with our midnight time frame for some of the heavier stuff. So here we go. Again, the big concern with this is this initial push as it moves in, where we have a brief 4 to 6 hour window, depending on how it falls, literally, of some heavier snow potential, heavy wet snow. So this is the latest HRRR run. I like this model best. I've combed through all the models for you. This is the one I agree with the most in terms of how it evolves. So snow moves in. Here's midnight, 1, 2, 3, 4. Notice we've got some pretty heavy snowfall rates. A lot of these dark blues are going to be picking up, and the radar is going to look dark blue as well. And the reason why is because we're going to have, I think these are going to be big, fat, wet snowflakes. All right. And when you have big, fat snowflakes, the radar beam's bouncing off of that big fat snowflake, and it says there's a lot of snow there, so it sends it back. We're going to have some real decent returns on radar from this as well. So real good snowfall potential as this first wave moves through. And then as we go through time tomorrow morning, I think once we get beyond, I mean, this is 6, 7 o'clock right here. Notice we're starting to change over. I don't agree with the ice. I don't think we'll have any icing. But in terms of the snow, we're going to go from heavy, wet slush snow, right, Still thinking 2 to 4 inches. We might be able to crank a 5 out of it. I know that's not a ton of snow, but it's in a very short window of time. All right. That's in a good 6-hour period. I think we'll get it 2 to 4 inches, and maybe a 5. Okay. That's a lot in a short period of time. 2 is really not. If we get a little bit of dry air in this and the heavy snow band kind of comes in and it's kind of patchy, I could see that happening as well, where we get areas, because remember, we're forecasting for a big area. So not everyone's going to see the same amount. I could see areas that, the snow kind of lessens up for an hour and a half or so, and that cuts down your snow total to 2 to 3 inches. All right. That would be at the lower end. I think most of us are going to settle 3 to 4. Okay. And we could have some 5s if this really cranks tonight, which, given the way this low pressure looks right now and the way it's really strengthening, I could see this thing crank out some pretty heavy snow, heavier than what the models are saying tonight. Either way, that happens in a hurry tonight. If you're going to work tomorrow morning, all right, I always want to speak in practicality to you guys. If you're going to work tomorrow morning and you have the option to delay going to work, I would suggest that by 6, 7, even 8 o'clock, we'll start to change the snow over to rain in Northwest Indiana. Chicago's a different story. All right. Chicago's going to stay snow for a little bit longer, and they're going to have snow a little bit sooner on the backside. And then it's all snows you get in North Central Illinois. Okay. Different story there. But for Northwest Indiana, we change over to rain pretty quickly tomorrow morning. Okay. There's warm air aloft. So it's not always about our temperature here at the surface. It's about what's happening up in the atmosphere. And there's warm air aloft coming in from the Gulf of Mexico. So as that warm air comes in, it'll help to change, obviously, some of that snow over to rain. Okay. So here we go. This is late morning now. Notice we're all rain. Chicago's starting to change over to rain. They've got heavy snow back towards Rockford, Quad Cities. We'll be getting a heavy snow as well. We're still cranking the winds mid-morning as well. Here comes the low. Look at this, right over Northwest Indiana. That doesn't happen very often. So here's your migraine problem. This is a 980 low. That's a deep low right over the region. Wind tomorrow afternoon as this low comes over us, it's kind of like the eye of a hurricane. It really is. The wind is going to back off. All right. And it's not going to be much of a system. And you're going to say, that wasn't bad, right? And this is, again, tomorrow afternoon towards that evening rush hour. You're going to see the system's nothing. There's barely any wind outside. That's because the low pressure is right over us, okay? It's fascinating, right? And then once that low goes back by, we're going to shift the wind around, and it's going to start cranking again. Right there, we're going to get real windy. This is tomorrow evening, and you'll notice we'll have just some showers. Notice it's not an all-out rain tomorrow, okay? There's breaks in it. But tomorrow evening, that's where we are right now. We're going to change rain back over to snow. I think the changeover occurs after the evening rush hour. So tomorrow, if you really do have to work, it'll be manageable. All right. Roads are going to be a mess in the morning, but by 8 o'clock, we're all rain. So let's say INDOT's really working hard and they clear some of it, right? You'd be okay if you left late morning, and then you will be okay on the way home as well. Okay. It's going to be all rain during that time. But then tomorrow evening is when it changes back over to snow. I don't see a ton of snow with it, but we are going to lay down another accumulation on top of that. And I think the big story tomorrow evening and tomorrow night is a wind. The wind is really going to be cranking out of the northwest. It'll be blowing colder air, and you notice there's snow on the backside. Not a ton, but again, we will have some. And this system's going to, in terms of lake effect, that's a common question. We're going to get lake effect with this. Not much. It's really going to be that band and it's out. That's why I like the Her. It picks up on it really nicely. And then that lake effect, the wind is just too strong. So it's to develop any heavy lake effect or organize. And so it does develop some lake effect bands. And because the wind is so strong, it doesn't have them in the typical lake effect counties in southwest lower Michigan. It has the lake effect starting in areas of western Ohio from Lake Michigan. That's just a product of how strong that wind is as it blows it all the way over in Ohio. So that's it. And then we're done with this thing. Okay. We're done with this storm system after that. So let's talk snowfall. I know everyone's obsessed with numbers, and I'm telling you, please switch your mode of thinking. And again, this is not the lazy meteorologist saying that, all right? It's the practical meteorologist saying that to you. Who cares how much snow we get, all right? It doesn't matter if you get 3 inches and I'm calling for 5. It doesn't matter if you get 6 inches and I'm calling for 3. It's all about how it impacts you, all right? Are the roads bad or are the roads not bad, all right? That's what matters with forecasts, and that's the messaging I try to get across every time, okay? So in terms of snowfall, here you go. Look how fast this happens, all right? Boom, that's it. I mean, this is in the matter of a couple hours. And this is the latest HRRR run. I like it. I think it looks great. It's got a general 2 to 4 inches. All right. Could we crank a 5? I said we could. We certainly could. Notice the lesser amounts as you get up towards the lakeshore. So from basically the Boorman north, Klein Avenue over towards, the Whiting area, Portage, Porter, up towards Michigan City, you're probably going to get a little bit less because Lake Michigan's still on the warmer side. All right. So general 2 to 4, it's just going to be slushy. Again, who cares exactly how much adds up? It matters how you're going to be impacted in that morning rush hour, regardless if you get 2 inches of heavy wet snow or 4 inches of heavy wet snow. It's going to be messy. Okay. It's going to be sloppy tomorrow morning. I do think it'll be picturesque. I mentioned that last night. I think that this wet snow is going to stick to things quite nicely. So if you're a photographer, we have a lot of region weather photographers out there as well. It's going to be pretty, but we're also going to have wind with it as well. So I'm not too sure how much it'll stack up on trees. I think it'll more kind of plaster everything. Okay. So that's what we're looking at for this one. If you have travel plans westbound, I mean, this is what the latest HRRR's cranking, where it stays all snow the whole time. And this comes with wind. So this is where your winter storm warnings are. So Chicago itself looks like a 2 to 4. But you get in some of the western suburbs up in this areas of southern Wisconsin, you're talking 4 to 8. And then we've got a foot potential back in the areas of Iowa, again, the Quad Cities, even Rockford will be approaching about 10 inches. So again, when you look at snowfall maps like this, this isn't truth, okay? This is a projection, all right? No one knows how much snow is going to fall. Well, God does, but no one else knows how much snow is going to fall. And so don't take this for truth. This is our guidance that we use. And again, all the models are a little bit different, but this is the one I like the best. This is the one I trust the best for this situation. Okay. There's other models I like other times, but I trust this one the best. Okay. So there's that. All right. So where do we go from there? So that's tomorrow's storm. I hope that makes enough sense for everybody in terms of how tomorrow's storm behaves. Once we get that out of there, to me, we've got an even stronger storm system and a worse storm system on Friday and Saturday into the weekend. Okay. So I want to get an early look at that. I like to take them one at a time, but not when they're so close together. Okay. Because tomorrow's Tuesday and you're probably making weekend plans already. All right. So I want you to know and have a heads up on this weekend system as well. So here's big picture across the country. Here goes our massive low, pulls on out. All right. No real Arctic air behind it. Not a big deal as we go back behind it. Might get a little snow. And this is a kind of a new thing on the modeling is this little tiny clipper system might bring us some snow on Thursday. And some of that could accumulate on the lighter side. Notice how it kind of clips us. A clipper clipping us. There you go. That should be a t-shirt. All right, here we go on Friday. So this is Thursday night to Friday. Same thing. Area of low pressure carving out of the Four Corners region, comes down in areas of Texas, forms a big low. That low strengthens and rapidly develops. I saw some chatter in the meteorological community about this system actually going through the process of bombogenesis, which you hear with nor'easters off the East Coast. So basically, the low pressure becomes really, really deep in a hurry, 24 millibars, 24 hours. That could happen with this, and that usually doesn't happen over land. Anyway, this is going to become a big, powerful system. So the latest modeling on this, and this is still one to watch because this all depends on how deep this trough carves out west of it, okay? And that still remains to be seen. That's going to dictate where the track of this low goes. But the modeling today, and let me zoom in for you just so we can see it a little bit better. The modeling today keeps us mostly snow for this one. So this would be a snowstorm with this one, okay? So here you go. This is Friday. We start dry. Then we bring in heavy snow, says the Euro. Not truth yet, but it's guidance right now, okay? And then notice that low really goes up. Remember, our sweet spot for a low pressure is Indianapolis down to the south and east. And that's exactly where this one goes. It has it going over the Cincinnati, Covington area, okay? So that would bring us some real good snow. So the Euro has real good snow around here on Friday, and then more snow kind of lingering into Saturday. But what you see on here are these blue lines that go all the way down into the Smoky Mountains. That is a shot of Arctic air. That's the difference with this one is there's super cold air with the polar vortex coming down, and that cold air is getting tapped into, all right? So that would be a game changer where we'd have a real fluffy snow that continues into Saturday, and then we kind of quiet down just briefly, more snowflakes around, some lake effect snow, and then this system comes in, all right? This is next Monday, Tuesday. It looks further south and east because now our trough's carved out. but the potential's there for more lake effect, perhaps. Potential's there for this next storm to shift. And that just continues with the cold air around here all the way through the middle of next week before maybe we moderate a little bit. All right. So a couple of things I want to show you. Let's go over temperatures really quick, and then I'll show you snowfall totals just to show what the models are doing. And then we'll try to answer your questions, and I'm going to get you on your way because I've got a morning show once again staring me in the face. So it is my bedtime. Okay. So I try to get these on as late as I can just for you guys, but we are in bedtime territory now. Okay. These are temperatures. If you can't see these numbers, come close to your screen or I'll just read them to you. This is what the Euro is projecting in terms of high temperatures. So this is tomorrow, upper 30s, right? We'll be warm enough to have rain. No real cold air behind this one. So we're in the low to mid 30s on Wednesday. So we're colder, but not really cold, right? And then Thursday, we'll start to bump those temperatures back up down to the south. Look at this warm air and moisture we're tapping into. We're near 30 degrees around here on Thursday. And then here it comes. We're near freezing on Friday. And then here comes your cold air. All right. We're in the teens to near 20 on Saturday. Look at this out towards the west. And this just comes flying in. So Sunday, the Euro saying a high of 6 degrees. Okay. Way below zero up in the north. There's a model that showed Montana, a part in Montana this morning with this next system coming in that would have air temperatures at minus 60. Minus 60. That's an air temperature. That's not a wind chill. This is a very cold air mass coming south. Okay. So it has teens on Sunday. That's this weekend, guys. So whatever you got going on, if you're watching football, if you're a big Packers fan, I heard a lot from you guys last night. I heard a lot from the Bears fans too. I get it. But if you're watching, the Pack, they're going to be going. It's going to be cold. And this has a high next Monday, right around zero. Okay. I mean, that's just kind of what we're working with. And we're talking less than a week. We're going to have this. And then it kind of sticks around. All right. So it happens every year. All right. We get real cold like this. We get a little chunk of the polar vortex. I just want you to know it's coming, and it's coming this weekend and next week. Okay. And we're likely going to have some deep snowpack around here. Okay. So last thing I want to show you snowfall totals. Let's just go through them real quick with all the global models, just to kind of give you the latest numbers that are coming out. And I have not seen these because I've been using all high res all day. So there's the Euro, says a good 2 to 4 tonight, right, from that system. So that's right in line. And then this next storm that comes in on Friday, Saturday, there you go. I mean, it's got some good totals around here. It's got about another foot falling here in the region. Depends on the track of that, right? And then that other one will lay down snow further south and east of us. So, I mean, look at this. This is by January 17th, which is, 9 days from now. We're talking anywhere from 10 to 25, maybe even 28 inches in portions of the Great Lakes. So it is going to be much, much different around here as we go into the weekend and next week. And we've got really 3 storm systems to watch that are going to do that. Okay. Let's just check the other models real quick, and then I'll answer some of your questions, and then we'll go to bed. Okay. Or you guys can stay up, whatever you want to do. You're adults. The GFS has a lot of snow on us. I mean, it has 30 inches in the next 9 days. Okay. And then let's check my best friend, the Canadian model. Yeah. Kind of the party pooper, saying about 14 to 18. So there's that. All right. So that's what we've got. Okay. In terms of snowfall, we're going to get some. December was quiet. January is not going to be. All right. Let's answer your questions. I'll try to answer as many as I see here. I do appreciate you guys. Thank you for your support. I see a lot of you sending stars. I do appreciate that. That is diaper money in our book. So I appreciate that. Let's see. Melissa asking, will commute be okay Friday morning? Melissa, great question. I do think commute looks good on Friday morning as of right now. Okay. So there's that. Let's see. Tanya is going to Kankakee tomorrow, 4:30 on I-57. If it's 4:30 in the morning, Tanya, it'll be problematic. If it's 4:30 in the afternoon, you're fine. Just hang on to the steering wheel. We're going to have some gusty winds around. Okay. Especially early. Jeff, yes, we will have strong winds on Friday with this as well. Pretty similar to this one as it looks right now. But that wind on the back side of this is going to be really cold. All right. We'll probably be pushing wind chill values minus 10, minus 20 with this system as it moves in. Okay. Maxwell, yeah, long range warms up in 2 weeks. Well, that's what's going to happen. I mean, you can only get warmer from where we're going. So yes, it does moderate us back into the 30s and some 40s as of right now. So, it's got a little staying power to it next week, but this polar blast does not. It's interesting. Sometimes it comes right at us. This one kind of comes into areas of the upper Midwest, and then it just kind of rotates through. There's no fresh cold air coming into it. So it's really impressive that it's that cold, because remember, cold air, when it comes into the lower 48, automatically moderates because it's closer to the equator. It wants to get warmer. And so to get real cold air that stays for a while, you need a constant push of air out of Canada that's renewing that cold air. And that's not happening with this. And so this cold air comes down, but it's so cold to begin with that it just kind of stays and doesn't moderate for a couple of days, and it rotates through. So no, we don't have a flow coming out of Canada. It just kind of, lingers, and then it heads on out. So there's that. Joey, you're welcome. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel. I do appreciate that. Guys, we're slowly trying to grow our YouTube channel up to 1,000 subscribers. I don't push it, it's just there. But once we hit 1,000, we can go live on there, which is great. Like from anywhere, which I think would be really helpful. So if you guys get a chance on our YouTube channel, let's go ahead and click the thumbs up and subscribe if you can. It'll also alert you when we go live. And I don't like to waste your time. So we go live when we need to, and Sunday nights. That's it. Okay. Let's see. Jay, those storm totals are for all the storms together. Tonight, we're going to get anywhere from 2 to 4, maybe 5. It'll be quick, wet snow, not a ton of snow, but enough to cause problems tomorrow morning's rush hour. Erica's happy with the Canadian model. Russ says, do you think the warm ground temps and warm air and rain during the day, what do you say for pavement mouths? Oh, that's a good question, Russ. I know that affects your business. So the pavement temperatures aren't going to get that warm tomorrow. All right. Pavement temps will probably be right around air temps tomorrow. I don't think they'll hold any warmer than that. They'll probably stay in the upper 30s. So tomorrow night, when it turns back, you'll have some help because pavement temperatures will slowly come down. It'll probably be 37, 36, 35. So tomorrow night, I think a good salt will work. But in terms of tonight, it's going to be tough to keep up with the snowfall rates tonight. All right. And I don't think the pavement temperatures are going to help a whole lot, because that snowfall rate's going to overcome it. Once that initial heavy snow starts to fall, it'll make the pavement temperature 32, same temperature as the snowflakes. Right. So there's that. Tom, good question. I really think it could. Yeah, that's a really good question. He says, will Friday's storm reach blizzard criteria? If the track continues on its current track, Tom, we could be talking about a blizzard around here Friday into Saturday. Okay. If that track changes at all, we get a little rain into it. No, but there's going to be a lot of wind, and we're going to have a real fluff factor to it at the end, and we'll see. So the potential certainly there. Yeah. Thanks, Stacy. I appreciate that. Everyone that's saying you're going to go subscribe. Thank you. That helps out. It really does. Again, I don't care about clicks or likes or anything like that. You know that about me. But there's certain operational things that, YouTube and Facebook has that you can't do until people like it enough or whatever it is. So if we could get beyond that operational hurdle of 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, we can do a lot more things with it. Okay. Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate that. So Kathy asks, do you think schools will be closed tomorrow? Kathy, I mentioned this last night. It all has to do with your superintendent and when they wake up and what it looks like when they look outside. I think when our superintendents look outside tomorrow morning, they're going to see a lot of snow falling. Okay. Again, this isn't a blockbuster amount. 2 to 4 is not much, but it's the timing of it. And so think about it. If it's still coming down good at 4, when they wake up and look out the window, 5 o'clock's when they got to get the buses going, right? They got to have them brushed off. And if there's any big danger of having your kids, on a bus that isn't in good travel conditions, more than likely they're either going to delay or they're going to cancel it. A delay may do it tomorrow for a lot of schools, just because it is going to improve later in the morning. But how long do you delay? Do you delay 3 hours? You typically don't do that, So I would imagine some of the schools are going to be closed tomorrow. If I were a superintendent, I'd probably say, well, it's been kind of a slack winter. I know a lot of the kids just went back, but there's that. So, okay. Amanda and Tanya are asking, what time is the storm going to hit on Friday? Good question. To me, as of right now, it looks like afternoon, evening is when we begin to see the effects of it. So your morning and midday would be fine. That can still adjust. I mean, the system's not even on the West Coast yet, but as of right now, it looks like our morning would be okay. Friday evening would get a little dicey around here. Brad, you're welcome. I didn't see you on there, buddy. Good to see you, man. Let's see. Yeah, good question there too. No problem, Kathy. That's fine. All right. I think I've answered everything or most of them. So again, I appreciate you guys. We'll be back with you again tomorrow night. I mean, I'm going to be with you every night this week. And the reason why is because we have a very active pattern. And what we'll do tomorrow, I don't like to really recap storms because that's more news and I'm more forecasting. So we'll recap what's going on. You guys can tell me what you're seeing. I have something in my eye all of a sudden. And then we'll talk more about Friday. Okay. We'll get going on Friday's storm. All right, guys, have a good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Again, be safe tomorrow morning. Allow some extra time for that morning commute, okay?